Right, summer is here and we're enjoying a summery day out at Zwartkops Raceway with HINO South Africa. And I have with me Anton Falk, who's Vice President of HINO South Africa. HINO Truck. Why don't we just call it HINO Truck?
HINO South Africa.
HINO South Africa, hey? And a great day today because we're looking at the future. And the future is a hybrid. In fact, it's on testing in the present. And also today for the future was introduced the Dutro. Beautiful little vehicle, 1-ton payload. And it's fully battery electric. Anton, I want to just know, you've just introduced today the battery electric vehicle. What's your plans for this in the future? Why are you looking at this?
So as usual, you're trying to get me into trouble. From the outset, it was not an introduction. We're merely showcasing the vehicle at the moment in order to assess whether the vehicle would be suitable for South African conditions and whether there would be interest from South African customers for that type of application.
Sorry, yeah, very important. It's not for sale. You brought it out to test it.
Yeah.
How many have you brought out? How many?
No, just the one of the Dutro Z. We just brought the one. So we'll be showcasing that around the country to at several events or occasions in order to assess whether there's interest in it. Different from the HINO hybrid, where we've got 6 that's been running for a while, and we're taking another 32 into the market now, to a total of 38. There we are, I guess you could call it a sample introduction. So while we've introduced the vehicles into utilization through selected operators, we're retaining ownership of those vehicles and making sure that the customers have got a risk-free experience, allowing them to have big savings in terms of fuel consumption and, of course, much lower emissions, being Euro 6 specification.
Okay, now those hybrids, some of those hybrids have been operating out of your parts warehouse.
Yes.
For about 2 years now.
Indeed.
What's the results looking like? Are they coming out positive?
No, very, very good. First up, the drivers of the vehicles are giving us feedback that it's no different from driving a normal truck. So there's no special training required. There's no new challenges brought about by the fact that it's a hybrid. So it's easy to operate. But more importantly, it's also reducing the fuel consumption dramatically. 20% is the findings that we've had so far.
I was going to ask for, is there any percentage you've got that is solid? 20%?
Yeah, correct.
That's huge in today's world.
Indeed, yeah. So you know, the interesting thing about our hybrid technology is it's expensive. In countries such as Australia, where it's running very successfully, the price between the normal vehicle and the hybrid vehicle is significant. I think it's about between 30 and 40% difference. So there the operator would need to carefully assess whether their fuel consumption would make up for the difference in the purchase or the acquisition price, if you want. Yeah. That's besides the emissions argument, of course, which is a valid one. And then in South Africa, because we're retaining ownership, because we are viewing it as a sample introduction or an experiment, if you want, we of course not putting that price pressure onto the customer. We're cutting out any margins. It's an experiment that we're running, and hopefully these 38 vehicles will show that they can do the job in South African conditions and that there is room for a diesel electric hybrid.
Now, you mentioned earlier on, you were talking and said that there's no regulations to encouragement of the movement towards these emission-free vehicles from our government. Is that a problem? How do you see that? Should they be taking a closer look at regulating and incentivizing?
Yeah, it's an interesting dilemma. You know, in most countries where people have moved on to higher Euro spec products, it's because legislatively the owner and or the supplier of the vehicle is being forced into better emission control.
Yes.
In South Africa, there's very, very little legislation in that regard. I'm very, very pleased that the legislation is changing in order to ensure that we've got better quality fuels, because those two go hand in hand. You can't have a highly sophisticated, low emission vehicle without high quality fuels. The problem, however, is that while that will allow us, because of the fuel availability, to bring better products into South Africa, the price differential of those products will be quite high compared to a current Euro 2, Euro 3 emission level vehicle. And there's no legislation that forces the customers, hey, he's going to go for the low-cost option.
Yeah, I remember in Germany when they were looking at swapping to Euro 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're on 7 now. Hey? We on 2 still, are we?
I'm not sure what our legislation is now. The majority of our vehicles are running on Euro 3.
They're Euro 3 majority. Yeah. But they gave incentives such as lower toll fees to the operators, etc., etc. The incentives, realizing that it does cost extra. But climate change is with us, and we need to do something. And I want to encourage you. I go away today really filled with encouragement that at least companies like HINO are looking to my grandchildren, your grandchildren's future. Because you've got Donald Trump, who's actually a climate change denialist, who's saying, drill, baby, drill, let's get back to fossil fuel. Windmills are bad, they're killing birds, I don't know, they interrupt him with whatever you do. It's all, he's a total denialist, yet the evidence, scientific evidence has put forward. I think a debate is over. And so you've got to go it on your own. And they, against massive opposition like Trump and like no regulation, the politicians need to get on board.
So, I think the reality of it is that while we work on drivetrain and or power sources that's more suitable for the operator rather than for any other reason, there's no doubts that while you're fighting emissions, diesel is still going to play a big role in the future of trucking.
Yes, yeah.
And there it's very important for us to continue to work at ways in which we can reduce emissions through internal combustion engines. So, quite interesting. What people tend to forget is that over and above the emissions of the vehicle or the source of the energy, the lower the amount of energy you utilize, the lower your emissions to start off with. So if you have low fuel consumption on a vehicle, like for instance on our HINO 700s, our operators are telling us that they're getting huge fuel savings from those vehicles compared to other trucks with similar horsepower. And therein lies a huge reduction in emissions in itself. If you're burning a liter of diesel, there's going to be emissions. You can scrub those emissions. But first up, don't burn the diesel. Burn less.
Yeah. But just to end up, but it's going to come. It's initial days testing now and all that. But I remember being on Sun City, and the guy said, "Do you want to make a call home?" And he handed me this little thing, and he said, "It goes up to that." It was called a cell phone, and I handed it back, and I said, "This is a gimmick. We're now filming this on a cell phone. No one uses anything anymore but a cell phone. The landline is gone. Our fingers have fingerprints again from not dialing that numbers." Do you remember the manual typewriter? It was never going to go out.
Ka-ching.
Yeah, many of you looking at this will remember those. They're all gone. So it happens fast. And so you're in on the ground floor making sure. I think by the time my grandchildren come, diesel might just be on the out. I hope it is. But it's up to you to make sure. I ain't that clever. You are.
I think it's going to be around for many, many years still, and decades even.
Thank you very much. And thanks for a great day, and congratulations on what you've done. Yeah, you are looking at the future. You are putting your money where your mouth is. You are walking the talk, and all the very best of luck. We're very supportive of it.
Thank you, Senior.
God bless.